All right. Minnesota fraud. Ilhan Omar, Tim Walz. What do we know? Well, first, I want to show a clip of Tim Walz stumbling over himself, talking about what he's done and essentially just lying. So take a listen.
Again, my message is simple on this. You commit fraud in Minnesota, you're going to prison. I don't care what color you are, what religion you are. Anybody who wants to help us in that, we welcome that. But setting on the sidelines and throwing out accusations, and let's be very clear, demonizing an entire population and lying to people about the safety and security of this state is beneath that. And I will just add, as a teacher and as a parent, the absolutely pathetic usage of a slur, not to me, I don't care what he calls me many things, but don't think that doesn't hurt our children, don't think it doesn't hurt people who are dealing with this. And this is not normal, it's not both sidesism. We're solving problems, we're making life more affordable, we're talking about bringing people in, and we're getting this.
So yes, as always, Tim Walz, typical Democrat, plays the victim, says that he's been doing everything. He does take responsibility. Well, responsibility for what exactly? Oh, putting people in jail. Oh, wait, you actually had a reporter call you out and say, well, isn't it the federal prosecutors that are taking people and putting them in jail? And they've actually also been the ones that have been referring to people, saying, hey, Tim Walz, there's this fraud going on. Do something about it. And he tries to say, oh, no, we've been referring people. No, not only have you lying about referring people, but you're lying by saying that you're putting people in jail. No, literally a flat out lie. It's what they do. Call them out. Thank you to the person who created that video for pointing that out to us. But yeah, not only is Tim Walz lying, but apparently since 2021, members of his State Department, DHS, have been trying to let him know what's been going on. There are publicly circulating claims that staff at Minnesota Department of Human Services repeatedly tried to warn Tim Walz's administration about suspected fraud, and that many of those warnings were ignored. An X account claiming to represent about 480, we're not talking about 1, 2, 5, 10, we're talking 480 current DHS staffers. And they have a lot of staffers. Whatever, that's our government money being spent right there. 480 current staffers, DHS staffers, say that they let Tim Walz know of the fraud early on, hoping for a partnership in stopping the fraud. The group asserts that when they raised concerns, the reports were dismissed and some staffers were allegedly reassigned or even told to keep quiet. So, according to the Post, leadership were unwilling to take action that would have an adverse impact on their image. All they care about is image, man. That's all they care about. They want to look like they're doing the right thing and they're being inclusive while their actual policy and actual actions are putting Americans at risk. They're committing fraud. They're hurting hardworking, truth-telling Americans to protect fraudulent people just to keep up their image, because that's what they do. Again, Ilhan Omar, it's her district. What do we have to say about her? Well, we have this picture of her with a recent Somalian refugee, fraudster, whatever you want to call him, that was arrested. And this is a picture of them. It's been circulating all over the internet. And again, Ilhan Omar, who of course has nothing to do with this fraud, but her net worth has skyrocketed, and I mean skyrocketed, since 2019 when she first took office. So 2018 through 2019, her net worth was roughly negative 45K, still negative. 2020 to 2023, likely somewhere around the low figures at most based on reported assets and debts. 2024 disclosure, 6 to 30 million on paper, driven mainly by 2 private companies, because if you have a large net worth like that, then you can just assign it and say it's according to these private companies, and you are the person who's able to determine. So essentially it's a way of, if you have a bunch of money that went into your bank account, you can just say, as a public representative, this is where it came from, these private companies that we value at X amount. So there was this 3,500% increase in 2 years. And again, that's when this Minnesota fraud related to Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP, COVID, feeding the hungry program really was prevalent and suspicious at the very least. Anyways, that's all I want to say on that. Go look it up yourself. It's gross, it's nasty, and it's not surprising.
For the latest in case updates, legal tips, news, and politics, make sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and our other socials, and above all, subscribe on YouTube to get your dose of excellence on a daily basis.